Are you looking for the best 3D printers under $500? In this video, we will look at some of the best 3D printers under $500 on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro. The ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro was among our top picks in our resin 3D printers for under $300, and returned to our list of top resin 3D printers for under $500. If you're looking for a small form factor resin 3D printer, then the ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro is one of our top picks. ELEGOO quickly set itself apart from the competition with quality of life features, such as a charcoal air filter, an easy-to-level print bed, and one of the lowest initial prices for a monochrome LCD printer. The ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro, like all resin 3D printers, produces excellent quality prints, which are often indistinguishable from cast resin miniatures. Some users may take the issue that the lid has to be taken off to access the printer, as it takes additional space to store the lid. However, we found this to be a minor issue in the office. The Mars 2 has an extremely small print volume of 129mm, liters x 80mm, W x 160mm, limits the printer to very small prints. Also, as of the writing of this article, the Mars 2 Pro has been superseded by the Mars 3, which features a larger print volume and higher resolution LCD screen. However, the Mars 2 is still much better supported, with extremely cheap replacement parts available at many retailers. The ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro features one of the largest resin 3D printer communities, which gives users a wealth of information if any issues come up, coupled with ELEGOO continuing to support the Mars 2 Pro. Despite the newer Mars 3 being released, the Mars 2 Pro is easily a top recommended resin 3D printer for under. Number 2. ELEGOO Saturn. Until the ELEGOO Saturn arrived on the market, medium to large resin 3D prints were out of reach for most hobbyists due to their high prices. Equipped with a large 4K monochrome LCD panel for quick and high-quality printing, and an absurdly low price tag of $499, the Saturn quickly became the 3D printing industry's equivalent of the 2020 to 2021 graphics card shortage. Prices quickly jumped to $700, $800 due to demand, but thankfully fell back to under $500 in the last year, due to supply catching up to demand. The Saturn sports a much larger 9 monochrome LCD screen, with an overall build volume of 192mm, liters x 120mm, W x 200mm, H, which gives users a much bigger build volume to work around with. This often means that users can print 1/7 scale figures in one piece, instead of several on smaller printers. Like all resin 3D printers, excellent quality resin prints that rival injection modeled tabletop miniatures. However, users not requiring the larger print volume of the Saturn will quickly find themselves disappointed in the Saturn's increased resin consumption and steeper learning curve due to the much larger build volume. For those users, we would recommend Saturn's smaller brother, the ELEGOO Mars 2 Pro. For users looking for a high-quality, medium-format resin 3D printer, we would happily recommend the ELEGOO Saturn, if you can find one in stock. Anycubic's Mono X is a viable alternative as they are virtually the. Number 3. Anycubic Photon Mono X. The Anycubic Mono X was Anycubic's response to ELEGOO's Saturn resin 3D printer. Internally, it was identical to the Saturn with some additional features, such as a superior bed leveling mechanism and built-in Wi-Fi. However, at launch, its higher price tag and lack of software compatibility made it a hard sell compared to the Saturn. Like the Saturn, it sports a 4K monochrome LCD, which produces excellent quality prints. However, it does feature a taller print volume at 192mm, liters x 120mm, W x 245mm, H, which gives it an impressive 40mm height advantage over the ELEGOO Saturn. We found the Wi-Fi feature to be entirely useless, and despite the Mono X being available for a few years now, Anycubic has done nothing to ensure it works. However, that is not the case with slicer compatibility. At launch, it was not compatible with popularity. At launch, it was not compatible with popular slicers like Chichibox and Litchi, but over time, both programs included support for the Mono X, making the Mono X an easy recommendation for us. Number 4. Creality Ender 3v2. Creality made a name for itself as one of the first companies that offered an affordable and reliable FDM 3D printer. First, with their legendary sub-$1,000 CR10 line, and then followed up with their budget-friendly Ender 3 line. The Creality Ender 3v2 took the fundamentals of reliability and affordability and added many upgrades to improve the overall user experience. You no longer need to spend several $100s to get silent stepper drivers and a non-monochrome LCD. This printer also has a respectable build volume of 220mm, liters x 220mm, W x 250mm, H, which allows it to fit 90% of prints most users would need, and arrives mostly assembled in 2 major parts, and can be assembled and printing in about 30 minutes. Thanks to its well-documented assembly instructions, we found that the Ender 3v2's print quality is among the best of the budget 3D print $1,000. While reliability and print quality are kings with the Ender 3v2, it has few. First, despite being equipped with TMC silent stepper drivers, which ensure that the motion of the 3D printer is incredibly quiet, we found that the printer as a whole is loud due to the noisy, poor quality fans that are always on. Many users might not prefer having a glass print surface, as it does make print removal tricky without tools, or cooling the print surface to release completed prints. And lastly, the Ender 3v2 prints relatively slowly on its stock settings. Users can tweak and tune the settings to improve print times, but out of the box, the Ender 3v2 is slower than many of its rivals. What sets the Creality Ender 3v2 apart from the competition and makes it one of our top budget picks is its community and retailer support. The Ender 3v2 boasts one of the largest communities, and users will be able to quickly find answers to their questions. Number 5. Anycubic Vyper. With Anycubic's huge success with its resin 3D printers, and when it retired its last generation Mega line, many people wondered if they would bow out entirely of the FDM 3D printer market. However, this was not the case with the Anycubic Vyper. The Vyper was Anycubic's answer to the new generation of 3D printers, and it definitely has the fangs to take a bite out of its competition. Sporting many high-level features such as automatic bed leveling, a color touch screen, a dual-drive extruder, and a magnetic flexible build plate, it definitely aimed to take the crown away from Prusa as one of the most feature-packed consumer 3D printers on the market. It definitely did threaten Prusa with its great print quality, ease of setup, and sub-$500 price tag. However, it was not a complete win for Anycubic. Users complained about the quality control of its dual-drive extruder, as some were flawless, while others had print quality issues due to low-quality components within it. Its user experience was not nearly as polished as Prusa, as the software included was outdated and required some tuning from users before it fully realized its print quality potential. Finally, its community was very small compared to the Prusa community, making sourcing community help that much harder. Overall, from a value standpoint, the Vyper is one of the strongest contenders in the sub-$500 category.